So a little at approximately 3 a.m. this evening, we had a report of a train derailment at this location. A few residents reported hearing a large collision. We also had a report of one of the cars that derailed went into a home that was closest to the tracks, as you see down the street here. Unfortunately, one person was injured as a result of that train car that entered that home. It went into the home approximately 5 to 10 feet, but it did push a lot of the home out the other side. And one male had to be rescued from the home, and that male was in stable condition. He was alert, conscious, and talking at the time that he was taken out of the home, and he was transported to a local hospital. We are working closely with CSX to continue to mitigate the situation. Right now the scene is stable. There's no need for an evacuation of the neighborhood or any of the residents that are near the derailment. The cars, approximately 14 cars, were derailed in some form or fashion at this time. 9 of those cars are completely off the tracks, and five of those cars are partially off the tracks, meaning they just have some of the wheels off the tracks. One thing that we want to make sure that we're getting out is there's no hazardous materials on any of those cars that have been derailed. So there's no reason at this time for anyone to panic or feel that there's a need that any of the cars are leaking. The cars that were derailed were bulk handling material cars, so sand, dirt, rocks, things like that. So most of the cars that derailed were empty, but we are working right now, working closely with CSX. They have their team on scene, and they're working to get this situation cleaned up as soon as possible. Obviously, that's going to take a little bit of time with the amount of cars that got derailed and getting equipment in here to handle it as soon as possible.
As of right now, what caused the derailment? As of right now, what caused the derailment?
Right now, we do not know what caused the derailment. That's a better question for CSX, and they have a communications team working to figure out exactly what happened. I can tell you that they do have investigators here to determine what happened. It'll probably be daylight before they get that answer, where they can get some light down there. There are approximately almost 190 cars on this train, so that's going to take a little bit of time to figure out exactly what happened. Most importantly, right now, we just wanted to make sure that there were no more injuries related to this derailment. And also, with the cleanup process, Atlanta Fire and Atlanta Police Department are going to remain on scene just in case there are any issues with the cleanup process.
Your extrication team that went in, was this 14, Squad 4? What did you have to use to extricate this guy?
So we went in, they did, Company 14 is here, and also Squad 4. And also all of our other units that responded to this area, all of them worked together to, number one, stabilize the home. Like as I said, a large portion of the rear of the house got pushed out the other side, so that made the home unstable. So they had to check to make sure that part of the home was stable to continue to search the rest of the home.
Is the home livable?
It does not appear to be at this time due to structural damage.
Was he in his bed sleeping at the time?
I believe so, but I'm not exactly sure.
How did he survive this? I mean, when you look at the damage to a house that got pretty much moved off its foundation, how does somebody survive this?
That's correct. I mean, you're sleeping in your bed and you hear a large rumble and then you hear a large crash. So he's very fortunate that he's alive right now, but he was in good spirits from what I understand. Conscious and alert, talking. I believe he had a minor leg injury, and he was taken to the hospital.
Do you know where this train was traveling from and going to?
I do not know that.
Sergeant Stafford, talk about the traffic changes that we can experience throughout the morning as a result of this huge scene.
Thanks for bringing it up. That's a good question. So right now, with this train being derailed, that means all the other backup and intersections that the railroad line was crossing are now blocked. That includes Joseph Boone, that was blocked. So even getting here to see myself, that caused a little folks to have to go down. So some of the best routes to get around this are going to be Donald Lee Hollowell and Martin Luther King to help you get past this situation. But APD is working closely. We were just talking to the commander here and also our division chief to help assist with mitigating traffic. They do have a plan in place to help out with traffic because it is going to be affected through the rush hour morning.
Sergeant, can you tell what part of the train is off the tracks? You mentioned 14 rail cars, but how many altogether? 90 or 100?
There's approximately 190 cars total that the train was pulling.
So is it kind of in the middle somewhere, toward the end? How would you describe the location of the
I'm not sure. I wasn't able to get close to see further down the track, so I'm not really sure. I can get that information for you.
So
though.
190 cars, 14 derailed?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 9 or 10 flew off completely.
9 approximately are completely off the tracks, and then the other 5 are slightly off the tracks or derailed in some form or fashion.
Was anybody else in this house besides the man who was injured?
No, just him. Just him.
All right. Thanks,
All
Cortez.
right, thank you.